Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions. The Team Joy Club. No luck about it. No luck, just joy. Sheer. There's no luck needed to be who we are. Infinite light of being. Oh my gosh, it's too funny. I think I laughed for about, I don't know, 5 minutes. I couldn't stop laughing when I saw Dara's post on Miracle Constipation hashtag. And you know, really, I can see here, you know, how that play was to really play so serious. And it's just so good to be light about it, especially when you heard that from Jesus, because he's not asking us. Let's just ask the light of divine being. Does he have a requirement that we be serious about spirit? No, he's to lighten up already. He's asking us to be committed to our identity through willingness to look directly. But there are just enough Greek tragedies happen all around us. We don't need to make spiritually waking up be a Greek tragedy. That's what I'm seeing. And if it looks like one, then we all know it's a desire to have a Greek tragedy waking up. So let's just ask that question. Start off with the light of divine being and just see, is there any desire for this to be a serious event, this looking even to be serious, or can it be light and playful? And hear what the light says. We were really laughing with today when we had that little mini joining. It was hilarious. It starts getting really funny. So we don't have to be so serious about it. We have to be, we need wisdom. Wisdom, the wisdom of the Holy Spirit, so that we're not distracted. Because there is humor that is depreciating humor. Do you see a humor that denies looking? Ask Jesus that. I got to make this phone silent, otherwise it'll be binging all day. See, we just asked Jesus what humor is. See, the light doesn't judge humor. It's just pointing to where humor can be used to deny divinity. Like, it's kind of like this little laugh where we're not free. See, the laughter of spirit just is free laughter. It's not looking to judge anything. It's the nature of divine being to express so freely. And it's not hung up on the words, or it's just laughing for no reason whatsoever, because everything's really funny. Love, joy, just explore pure joy, laugh for joy. There's no reason to laugh because it's all joyful. In the light of divine being and honesty of God, is it really joyful? Are we joy? So now we just keep looking. Everyone's talking Jesus. So we're going to look just to see if there are any other, because he was asking him. We were looking at the Holy Spirit from chapter 20. It's on page 123 if you want to go back and look at these. We'll just meditate on the desire for an experience of sacrifice. The desire for the experience. Jesus, is there any desire below my level of awareness to experience sacrifice and talking to you? And it was really beautiful, that joining with Ellie. Oh, it was really beautiful, that little spontaneous. Looks like we'll have more spontaneous joinings where beings can just jump on, or seeing what's in flow. It was really beautiful though with Elliot, you know, he was just looking and you could just hear Jesus like pouring out, which we can all talk Jesus as we're finding out. And you see how beautiful it is. And to hear that comfort, you know, hear that voice of comfort in the mind, you know, all through the day. speaking to us, and, what do I look at? And he was talking about, Jesus was giving him the talk on keeping it simple. It's like a consistent reminder, right? Keep it simple. Light. Don't want to be the light? Give it to the light. And it's also beautiful. You can watch it because we're learning from each other. We're unlearning the idea we think we have, that we'll have this really big seeing. And a number of you are reporting this. It's like, oh my gosh, I see there's just this light and it's so peaceful. And Muji calls it, and then. So let's just see where the and then comes from the desire to have an and then, a light and then else. So let's just ask Jesus, is there any desire for us after, oh my gosh, there's light, it's just light, that's all there is. So if any and then comes, we know what to do. Take it to the light. Have the light reinterpret that and then. It's like, where did the light go? No, it's a decision for the light to go when it can't really go. So we're starting to see beyond that little trick, the little play in consciousness, that somehow the light gets lost under the couch. So just leave the light under the couch. So if you think you've lost it, just go get it under the couch. No, that's why he gave us each other, so we can hit the button and look at each other and go, that's right, the light's here because it's right here in front of me. It's right here in front of me, right here. This is a reflection of God right in front of me, so I won't forget. I can't hit that snooze button. I can try to hit that snooze button, but I can't hit it because my brother's standing right there as a representative of Jesus, watching over me. Jesus is watching over me through my brother. How about that? Ask the light. See, as long as we're making our brother the enemy, and you know how much I love Hacksaw Ridge because I just posted that video. He couldn't make anyone an enemy in the middle of a war zone. How precious is that? How precious in the middle of a war zone. He runs into a Japanese soldier who's hurt, and he starts treating him. No grievances. No grievances. So free. That's freedom. Freedom, generosity of spirit. We were talking about money before, and how Jesus is saying, and he talks about money and divine providence in that chapter on divine providence. And he says, you can play at giving all your money away, but it's poverty of spirit that's of greater concern. Like, we could be paupers because paupers can be a play in consciousness. But without the generosity of spirit to accept all our brother into our heart, it's the idea that money can buy love, or not having money is spiritual. And it's like, ask Jesus, none of the above. If it's helpful in our devotion to the recognition of divinity to give all the money away, and give it away. But see, you're not giving anything away. That's an idea that something can be given away. What we're giving away every moment of every day is the identity as light. That's what we're giving away, light identity. We're horse trading for some small idea that we have of ourselves. So it's helpful to ask, okay, Jesus, show me where the sacrifice is. The idea that that sacrifice is possible. You desire an experience of sacrifice as a means for salvation. The talking to me is salvation. Just ask Jesus, not talking to me is your salvation. Ask him. Is there any desire below my level of awareness that not talking to Jesus, the light within, is salvation? Any little remnants of not wanting to hear what he's saying? Because that we'd rather keep the desire for experience of sacrifice. Let's ask the light, in truth, is the desire not to speak to Jesus the desire to keep sacrifice? See, the ego makes it sound like if we talk to him, it's sacrifice, but really, if you go underneath it, it's the desire to keep sacrifices in experience. Now, how about that for a mind twist? Jesus, if I'm not talking to you, am I desiring to keep sacrifice in my experience? Because this voice doesn't talk about sacrifice. See, the voice of the light doesn't know what sacrifice is. The light doesn't know sacrifice. So that's a really good desire to see it in the light of truth. Is it possible to have sacrifice in the light of divine being? I'm willing to give that up, see that through. When you avoid the Holy Spirit's guidance in any way, this means you want to be weak. You desire an experience avoiding guidance and feeling weak. Let's ask. Jesus, is there any desire below my level of awareness to avoid guidance, to feel weak? I'm willing to see it, to keep the feeling of weakness. Misplace any desire in the light. To not follow the voice and therefore keep weakness as experience. Just see how this works with so many things that we've talked about. Money, for instance, keeping weakness around money. Like money salvation, or something that we eat is salvation, or something that's going to give us peace, or we'll be unhappy if it's taken away, or not having the right room to sleep in, or not somebody coming home so we can't be alone. You know, the thousands and thousands of ways that consciousness plays to prove misery is here. It's just such a great reminder that we can't find our way out without that voice. Every day we can see that we get more and more dependent on God. We're dependent on God anyway. We can pretend like we're not, but if you look at the light, let's ask the light, are we totally dependent on the light? And hear the answer. We aren't, there's what else could we be dependent on? We've been so dependent on the idea we have of ourselves. The consciousness plays like it can be dependent on itself. Where did consciousness come from? Can it be separate from the light? See, the way the world works is when you talk about consciousness, it's consciousness and then you just happen to arise in it somehow. Like, you know, there's these little particles of dust and then they all conglomerated. See, here's the story. They all conglomerated. It just blew out. And then you had evolution and you get a body out of it. Let's just ask the light. Is that true? Is light agreeing with that little postulation? Can we ever be happy with that postulation? We know there's something wrong with that. It can't happen. I think we'll turn that postulation back and put it in the light and let the light burn that idea. Jesus, show me any other places where I don't want to listen to you. Again, the idea of something can be taken away. The only thing that'll be taken away is the untrue, what does not exist. You believe you have withdrawn your gifts from God. Let's just see. Jesus, desire an experience of withdrawing my gifts from God. You desire an experience of withdrawing your gifts from God. If he says yes, just feel it. Just let it desire. Is that true? That's going to hurt. You start to see how much these things really hurt. Check it out and see. It'd be really hurt if you withdraw your gifts from God with an experience. This is actually the experience of withdrawing all of God's gift from yourself. You desire an experience of withdrawing all of God's gift from yourself. Let's see if that's true. Okay, I'm willing to see it. The desire to withdraw all of God's gift from myself. To have an experience of that in truth in the light of divine being, is it possible to withdraw all God's gifts from ourselves? Let's try to find a way in the light. It's impossible. The light is the light is the light. You believe the world is trying to strip God from you. Now, this Jesus shows how this plays out in a number of ways. It's your brother stripping, and if it's not your brother, then see how consciousness rotates? It does a rotation. It's like the universe is trying to strip God from you. However that appears. However the universe teams is kind of like screwing us over. You know, it's kind of like this amorphous group out there, amorphous. The world is colluding against me because whatever reason, tornado, storm, tsunami, that's the world trying to collude against me. And then we have the version, a different version of my brother. It could be the one in front of me. It can be the US government trying to strip the world away from me through laws, stripping God. The world strips God from me. Jesus is stripping God from me. My brother is stripping God from me. There's just no God left. How can I be God? That's pretty good. So let's just look at this one. You believe the world is trying to strip God from you. You desire an experience of feeling the world is stripping God from you. Jesus, is there a desire to feeling the world stripping God somehow? Is God trying to strip the world in truth, in the light? What is the light stripping anything? We want to be stripped. We want to feel stripped and shredded and torn and beaten, and ask the light that. Even though we know we can't happen. You desire an experience feeling the world is stripping God from you. You desire an experience of the world stripping God from you as a path to salvation. Let him show us that. Jesus, show us how there's a desire that this is a means, having the world taken away. The reason these things persist, he's reminding us, is because we desire this is the path to salvation. There's really, underneath the subconscious mind, we're feeling stripped by the world because we desire the strip to feel stripped and make it as though if we are stripped, that's how you get salvation. Now, if that's not about the closest thing to insane, but we have to see the desire, the wanting of feeling stripped. That's the way you feel. Like if Jesus gives you an assignment, like let's just say if your assignment comes in, okay, you're leaving the world to go and live in a spiritual community. It's like, oh my God, I'm being stripped. See, or even to come to a devotional place, you feel stripped. No, we're just seeing where the desire is, because light can't be taken away. Can light be taken away in some way? Light's never. So all it is just coming into our awareness where we have a desire for experience of being stripped. That the light is stripping something, but we have to see that the light doesn't strip anything. See, does the light strip anything? The light doesn't know what stripping anything is. The light just is. It's total, complete, and whole. So we look again, it's so you can see how the dance is. We can look at the dance in consciousness. Let's make it as many different ways as possible so we can make sure that it projects outside of ourselves. It's the world. You believe Jesus is trying to strip the world from you and that it's going to be painful. I know that was play. Is there anything left? I'll check in. I'm just checking in. I always check in. It's always good. I don't take any of this for granted, for sure. You desire an experience of the world stripping God from you as a path to, you desire experience of Jesus trying to strip the world from you and experiencing pain. It has to be a play in consciousness. So first, let's just look at this. Like, okay, so here's the light. The light, the voice of the light, our voice. Let's ask the light of divine being, is there any other voice than light's voice? And here the light says, no. So in order to pretend like we're not the light, we have to pretend like the voice is going to get us. So we can hit that snooze button and keep playing the dead game. So the only way we can keep that play in play to deny that the light's here is to pretend like the light's scary. It's going to get us. So we have to run away from it. Meanwhile, we're just, all that is running away from the recognition that the light is here. That's why this is so great, where Jesus is just bringing us, look directly at desire, do not pass go, and speak to me. So that it drops below that ring of fear that we miscreate to keep from looking down there, to see that nothing's down there in that basement. It's like empty, nada. It was so adorable too today when we're talking to Mary and Elliot, and there's nothing down there. There's nothing. There's just joy under that. That's all we're missing out seeing, is the joys under there, under all that play of consciousness. Joy for no reason. That's why we get to hear it together and come join. So in truth, in the light of divine being, is Jesus stripping anything away? Jesus is just pointing to that we're already whole and complete. We're stripping the kingdom of heaven from ourselves. We're seeing all the distractions to try to strip ourselves out of heaven. You believe you can do a better job. Let's ask the light that. Do I believe I can do a better job than God? We can just be honest. Jesus tells us, yes, you do. Let's just put that in the light. Here you go. Just hand that over. Put that in the back as we were laughing about today. Who was doing that? They're talking to you. That was Statsy, I think, going with the truck. She's going, just back that baby up, beep, beep. You know that beep that the truck makes? And she just goes, and they just heave that right into the truck. The desire, energy to try and do a better job than God. Oh my gosh. Let's just look at that so deeply. Jesus. The wanting to do a better job than God. That's the I think I know something disease. The the virus of I think I know something. I think I know how to be alive when I'm really, it's really in the dead zone. A better job than God. Is there any remnant around in there? I'm looking. Let's see. Put that in the light right away. That was another thing. It was really being a great reminder today of how simple this really is. This is simple. Light. Don't want to be the light. See in the light that you don't want to be light and be light anyway. That's I want to do a better job than God. And if we really look at it, when can we find a time that we've ever done anything better than the light? Really? Like, how's that working so far? If we really just like look at it, you know, because I never really looked back and went, did that really work? No, I was never happy with all that. The I isn't happiness. It's not our friend. The I stands for hell. And heaven does not have an I in it. Hashtag I equals hell. That one's for you. Okay. You enjoy projecting the world and did not liking it. Boy, Jesus gave me this one in spades. I had to really, because I could see really, like, you project a world, you start seeing, oh, I'm projecting this world, like, and then not liking it, you know, so we can pretend we don't like it. Making up all this stuff and pretending like we don't like it. Thus, you desire an experience of projecting the world, pretend you do not like it. The desired experience that what is happening in the world is being done to you against your will. That's the desired experience. Okay, let's look at that. Now, I'm projecting the world so I can have an experience that what is happening in the world is against my will. Jesus, yep. You know, all those beliefs, just put that one in the light, any kind of energy around it. Ask for a miracle. And you'll see it in movies. You start to see it everywhere. All the reflections of how we want an experience of have things done against our will. Watch 12 Years a Slave. That's the desire for the experience of having things done again. But it doesn't take that. We don't have to be like put in chains, because we put ourselves in chains. Consciousness plays like it's in chains. It's in chains every time it has a bad day over. I don't know why coffee keeps coming up, but I'll put that as an example. Or we're having a bad day for whatever reason, we just are agreeing that something's being done against our will. Mad at the government, agreeing that something's against our will. It's possible something against the will of God that's out of our control when it's all our desire. Is the experience of something being done against our will, is that a desired experience in the light of divine being? Hear what the light says. You believe that fear done against your will. Let's see, is there anything else, Jesus? That feeling of something being done against your will is to hide that you do will it. You desire it. you desire in that. Now that's a twist, right? So here it feels like we're being, the feeling of being screwed over in some way. I'm screwed. We know this language. This is what's common. I'm screwed. We take the I am and put an extra next to it. No, the light doesn't have an extra and it doesn't have a screwed in it. We got to look at this. Really? Does the light have that in there? No. So if we're feeling something's against our will, it's a desire to go against God's will, to have an experience against God's will. He's just turning everything right side up. You believe, here's a good one. This is a good one. We're going to just dive in, a swan dive into this one together. Because fear, boy, this has been so great with the joining, because Jesus comes right in with a number of beings and going, okay, there's fear under that, but no one's going into fear. This is the best part of this. Anyway, you believe fear is involuntary, thus you desire an experience in which fear feels involuntary. How about that? Ask Jesus. Let's ask him. Is there any desire to have fear feel involuntary left in the subconscious mind? Looking. It may arise, but we get faster at looking below it. Ask the light. Can we just look below fear and immediately not experience fear? See, to experience fear, you have to fully associate it. And I think I've talked about this before, like in neurolinguistic programming, this way of getting past phobias really quick. And this is just a God phobia, so we might as well get right. So the way you can do it really quick is that let's say someone's afraid of a spider. Well, all you have to do is now this is so direct. They pretend like they put a spider in their hand. And then they pretend like the spider gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. See, it's huge. And they're like almost screaming. And then all of a sudden consciousness goes, that's ridiculous. Phobia over. And there are other ways of doing it. The point is that it's a desired experience that we don't have to desire, because we're the light. Is the light afraid of anything? Is it looking around for fear? Can you think of one thing in the light that's afraid? So what Jesus is offering now is that we go below fear. And you can just see the reflections in these videos, how beings are going, yep, Jesus is saying there's a lot of fear under that. And then he just takes you. Is he asking you to go through fear to see the light? Is anyone here while we're looking and going, okay, is divine light here infinite? Is there any fear? Well, you might feel some things flush up, because that's what the play is in consciousness. Oh, you start talking about the light, I have to die, something's going to happen. But we're seeing beyond that. We're just seeing fear is a desired experience. Let's ask the light that. Is fear a desired experience? Okay, so let's ask the light this. If I look at the desire for fear and clear the desire for fear, can fear appear in my awareness? So by working with Jesus and just go to Jesus and go, show me the desire. And Janet said beautifully, all I have to do is look at it and it melts. Just look at it directly with him. Ask for a miracle. Jesus, let's ask him. Jesus, can we just ask for a miracle? He says the challenge is not the miracles and asking for the miracles, it's accepting the miracles. That the miracles are natural. There's nothing preventing miracles other than the desire not to have them, as we talked about, miracle constipation. Because miracles are natural. Remember, corrective and natural and just washed through, because that's expression of divine being. Fear is a desire to deny that the miracles are already here. Yet the miracles are the remedy to transform the idea, the perception that fear is real. So instead of like what he's teaching us to do, instead of like, oh my gosh, I'm fear, not associate with the fear, like it's, like it's glued here, or anything arising. Oh my gosh, I can't see the light. Don't fall for that. Just go, you can go like this and be and still see the light, like Hacksaw Ridge. He a whole war zone. And I love that scene. I might clip that scene. It's fantastic. I mean, they're bombing, fire, everything. He's at the top of the cliff, and you can see him go right to the Lord and go, what do I do? And he turns around and he goes right into the firestorm, following the Lord. And I love this. I'm going to tell this story because it's one of my favorites. Jesus says I can't. About 9/11. If you haven't heard this one, maybe we can find it somewhere with Lisa telling it directly. So Lisa Natoli told me this story that she was at 9/11. She was in New York on 9/11. And so they were working with Master Teacher, this ACIM teacher, if I haven't heard of him. He used to be in Wisconsin Dells. And she called her teacher and said, what do we do? What does he say? Get as close as you can. Now, everybody else is like running from this place. Like, you saw the pictures of 9/11. This is how consciousness plays to distract from looking in. See, fear and all these plays. And then you got the 9/11, you got the tsunami, you got all the things happening to prove that that we're going to die, basically. They go directly in. So I don't know who she was with, someone obviously from Endeavor Academy. That's what it used to be. And they go up to the barricades where there's a police officer standing right there. And he goes, well, what are you doing? Nobody's getting in here. They said, we're miracle workers from Wisconsin, and we're here to do miracles. The guy opens the gate and lets them in. And they just went in there and just followed Jesus the whole time and worked with the beings that were there. This is our function. This is our function, that even in the firestorm or whatever, just listen to Jesus. Listen to Jesus and follow. And you see that you're fine, taken care of. You can do anything I ask because we're light. We're not this world. Does this world, in the light of divine being and honesty of God, does this world hold one bit of power over us? When we really look. Now, we might forget it for a moment through the play in consciousness, but in honesty of God, when we look, we can see that there's light unimpacted by anything of this world. You want to get past fear. One, Jesus says, see your desire for it, that you want it badly, not to look, and then don't buy into it. Just like this, he said, I'm asking Jesus, yes, denial. Fear is a denial, so just deny it. True use of denial. No, I'm not buying into this. And ask for a miracle. That's our only function, is to express divine love in this world and then support each other through the love and devotion to ourselves. See, that's how the only true support is not what we do in the world. It's who we are in the world. Expressions of divine being as it is, not convincing anybody anything, not doing anything other than just sitting as light, being love and being carried by the one who knows to direct us. Expressing as the divine beings that we are. And we thank Jesus for bringing us together, such a powerful group of mighty companions, so devoted, willing to join, and we just keep joining and joining and joining. And releasing denials, that's our only function. And let Jesus take care of the rest. That sounds good to me. Sounds really good. I send you all love and hugs from San Juan Cosola. We'll just keep joining when you feel it. Jump on board. Happy hologram. Love you. Chrissy.